Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at 601 Studio for the Helsinki West Theatre presentation of Gelosi. Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Margarita Mäkelä. I'm a director, an acting coach, and an actor. I'm directing and producing Gelosi by David Bridell.
So why did you choose to do this play?
We are a newly founded theatre company. We're an international theatre company. This is our first full-length production. And Gelosi is a story of a theatre company being born and the struggles that artists have and the reasons we do this art. And since we are a new theatre company, I figured it would be a great, wonderful thing to do a play about becoming a theatre company, what's important for us and why we do this art. And also because I wanted to be able to cast everyone in my company. We double cast the show. So the reasons were many. The reasons were artistic reasons, and because the play also discusses an important thing. It talks about the war and what happens to people because of the war. It talks about what art means to us. And it's sort of a timeless play in a way, yeah.
I really loved this play. I mean, I really loved it.
I'm very happy to hear that. Yeah.
It was Shakespearean, even though Shakespeare didn't write it, and it was very intelligent, and actually it touched the political points that Shakespeare would have touched.
Absolutely. The playwright, David Bridell, he's a fantastic, phenomenal person. He's very intelligent, and obviously he did his research. This is about the real-life theatre company. Gelosi actually existed in the 16th century in Italy. So it's a true story with a little enhancement there and there. Yeah.
Also, as a director, you primarily do casting. What do you look for in your casting?
Well, talent, obviously. Talent and commitment. Open heart is a very big part of actors' talent. Ego freeness. I don't know if that's a word. Being free of ego. Being able to rise above the petty and the vigor, fearlessness, willingness. All the things that make a human being full. I guess I'm really demanding director my actors. Really, I'm so blessed to have them all stayed because I've been giving them a hard time for sure. Yeah, so I look for talent, but talent is nothing without the heart in an actor. So all these people that I have been so blessed to work with have the biggest hearts in Los Angeles, and they're really committed, and they've all working out of the love of the art form. We are all funding this play ourselves. Nobody's getting paid. We're paying to do art right now, which is should speak about how much we want to do this play and how much we love doing this. And we really hope that the audience will find it and find it delightful. So one of the things that should speak so highly of my actors and how much we really love doing this is that we are all professional actors, professional directors, and professional people of the theatre arts. But this piece we self-produced. So we didn't get paid to do this, even though we're professional actors. We self-produced it, and it is not always so that money brings the best talent. The heart brings the best talent. I want to pay these actors so much, but right now we can't afford it. However, at the interesting time when the 99-seat debate is going in the theatre world about how much actors should be paid, I think us actors should be paid. But in the end of it all, actors must be on stage. And I don't know how to put that otherwise. I don't know. Guys, help me out. I'm making it sound like an unprofessional. Yeah, am I making it sound like an unprofessional thing now?
No, you're professional.
Yeah. Well, we are professional, but it's sometimes there's this misunderstanding that you're paid for something that makes you professional. That doesn't make you. You're good at something that makes you professional. Money is such a.
Money was the reason we were doing this. I mean, that's bizarre. There's no money in the arts. You really have to do it.
Yeah,
for
not in this country.
Yeah, for the right reasons. You have to have the heart. You have to have the passion There's no other reason to do it.
And it's too hard and too much of a struggle to do it if it's not your real passion.
Yeah.
You have to be extremely passionate about it.
Yeah. But if we took this play to Finland, we don't get paid a lot because it's just a different country because the government supports arts more. Now I'm becoming all political. I could go.
We promise.
Okay. No more politics.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Sara Nurmi. I was born and raised in Finland. I moved to New York 7 years ago to study acting and music and all that fun stuff, and came here specifically for this theater company last October. I played Victoria. She loves the stage. She's a little bit selfish. She will do whatever she has to do in order to be number one and get what she wants. I would say career for her is the number one thing, and there certainly are people like that in this world, in any career form, business, music, acting, probably at your local Trader Joe's, who knows.
You mentioned you actually specifically targeted this company. Why was that?
Well, I was living in New York and I needed a little break, so I decided to come to LA to take some acting classes and just see what the city is like, and fell in love with Margarika Michaela's classes. I was so inspired, and she was from the same country as I was, so that was a plus for me. And whenever I went back to New York after taking her classes, I couldn't stop thinking about them. And what was really important for me was to find a group of people that I felt really comfortable with and that I felt like was a family for me, and that's what I found. And when she was telling me that she would want to start a theater company, I had to be a part of it, and I'm so glad I came here for it.
Actually, in Shakespeare, I just love the anti-heroes that he has. Well, this wasn't written by Shakespeare. It was great. I assume it was greatly influenced by Shakespeare, though. So I actually consider your character the anti-hero of the story. What do you think about that?
That's interesting. I don't know what to say to that. It's very interesting to hear how other people are going to perceive the whole play, and for me there was a big challenge to play the character because I didn't like her in the beginning at all, and the challenge was to make her at least a little bit likable, because everyone is vulnerable deep inside, and whenever someone behaves the way she does, a little bit evil, a little bitchy, I think it comes from major insecurity. So it was interesting to do that role for me.
Well, I really loved the act. I really loved you two in this play. You were fantastic.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for coming to see it. Thank you so much.
Great. Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Lonnie Offrey. I was born and raised in Jerusalem, Israel. After serving in the Israeli army, I chose to study acting, and I got accepted to the Stella Adler Conservatory program in New York, where I trained. After that, I was signed by an agency, moved to Los Angeles, and not too long ago, late last year, I discovered Margarika and went into the Michael Chekhov technique. And when she started Helsinki West, she invited me to audition, and I became a very happy member of this theater company that's such a jam in Los Angeles.
And which character did you play?
Isabella. She comes from a good house. She's very passionate about art, about theater, about poetry, and she is crazy about this group of actors. She's a real fan of theirs, and they're coming to her hometown, and she follows all of their performances, and then she tries to insert her poetry. She tries to do a very brave thing, and they accept it in condition to her being in the play. So she essentially becomes one of the first female actresses to be on stage.
I liked it. It was very Shakespearean, but actually, my biggest problem with Shakespeare is there are not enough good, meaty characters for women. What do you think about that?
Yeah, this is a great, meaty role. There's a really interesting and challenging arc. She has to start out very innocent and young and just full of life, and she goes through very difficult things and not a great relationship, and what that does to her, and the change that you have to go through as the actress while that's happening in the character is very challenging and full of meat. So it's great for an actress, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Sean McConaughey. I was born and raised in Rhode Island, and I trained in London at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art for 3 years, and subsequently worked out of London for several years, and came back to the States about a year ago. And I guess before I started acting, I was in the U.S. Navy for 4 years. I play Francesco. He is the head of the theater troupe, the Gelosi, and he is a veteran of the Holy Wars, which were instigated by Pope Gregory. He served in the Middle East. He was a prisoner of war for 6 years, captured by the Turks, and he has come back to Milan after being released as a prisoner of war to form the Gelosi, and he has a few little tricks up his sleeve on how to get back at those who he feels is responsible for his abandonment and imprisonment.
Do you have a Shakespearean background?
I do, yeah. But the training that I did over in London was a 3-year classical training program, and so there was a lot of verse speaking, Shakespeare, Jacobean, Restoration comedy, Chekhov. So yeah, I had my fill of the classics, as it were. And I worked for a few great companies back in the UK, the Royal Shakespeare Company, the Old Vic, the Arcola. So yeah, it was good training. Yeah.
Do you prefer this kind of role where you're the leading man, or would you rather play someone like Richard III, a real terrible person?
I prefer anything that pays. Those are the ones that I'm after. Yeah, no, I mean I think all the actors that I've always looked up to have always wanted a variety of roles in their lifetime, whether it be a leading man type, whether it be a villain, whether it be a supporting role. You know, Ian McKellen, when he was recently on stage a couple of years ago, he played, you know, the lead part in one play and then the butler in another one. And I think those are all the guys that I looked up to. So I'm fine playing the leading man, and I'm fine, you know, being just like the guy in the background, spear carrier, whatever, as long as it's like a show that I believe in, and it's good work, then I'm all for it, you know. So yeah, so I'm just happy to be part of this production, and I really want people to come check it out.
So what do you think of the play, though?
The play? I think it's got a bit of everything. It's got, lots of laughs, some great sort of poignant, tragic moments. I love the way that it plays around with the sort of medium and the modality of theater, where it suddenly starts commenting on itself and it starts inverting upon itself. I think it's a great device, and it keeps the audience on its toes. Ultimately, I think it has a really great and sincere message at the heart of it. So yeah, I'm quite a fan of it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks. Yo, thank you. Come see it.
Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus from KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Victor Manso. I was born and raised in Venezuela, where I started theater about 12 years ago. And then I went to study filmmaking in Spain, in Barcelona, for 2 years. And then I got accepted into the Stella Adler Studio of Acting in New York. I moved there and graduated, and then I moved to LA to pursue acting after being signed with an agency and a manager. And during my time here, I discovered the theater company Helsinki West, and here I am performing with them. I'm playing Orazio.
And could I have a brief synopsis of Orazio?
Absolutely. The best way to describe Orazio is he moves with his heart, and that would be physically, emotionally, his soul. He's in a commedia dell'arte description, he will be the innamorato, which is the lover, the romantic. So there is no ill will coming from him. You will never find him with hatred. If anything, his heart is full of love, or his heart is broken because it's full of love. And I guess that would be the best way to describe him.
Yes, I love, as you put it, broken characters, because again, no one wants to go up there and play the weakest character and all that.
Absolutely, and I don't think it comes from a place of weakness. I think one of the reasons is that characters like Orazio, they're not. They are strong, or you want to play them and portray them because they're fragility, their sensibility makes them strong. And I think that's something to admire when somebody's so open and so willing to be hurt, because no matter what, they will continue loving. I love that.
All right, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
My name is Anne Levin. I am a former teacher. I taught drama, history, English, and I'm retired now and have come back to acting. I started a little late in life and I'm continuing. I played Catherine de' Medici. She was a woman of many contradictions. She was a very powerful queen in the 16th century, probably rivaled Elizabeth from England. Again, a woman of contradiction. She adored her family, but she would do anything to keep them in power. So she's very much a manipulative person. She's given credit, whether it's due or not, for the St. Bartholomew massacre. It was called the maggot from Italy's tomb. So she's quite a character, and absolutely a challenge and a joy to play.
Yeah, actually, I'm very impressed by your acting skills, because in a sense they could have just gotten an old woman to play an old woman, but you're not an old woman.
Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, so how did you get into character then?
Well, I do a process that comes from a lot of different kinds of craft and skill. Use my imagination, use my body. I've done a good bit of Alexander work. I've worked with some amazing coaches, and I use all those craft points that I've learned to become the character.
Do you think it's necessary to take this much courses? Because again, I've always been intrigued by the fact that some actors are just born that way. They can just act. But again, for Shakespearean actors like you actually go through meticulous technique and learning to develop this thing. Was it something that you were born with, or was it something that you learned?
I believe we have to study a craft, and I think it's really interesting when actors don't stay in classes, because I know that people who are fully professional singers have singing coaches, and professional musicians in orchestras take master classes. So as an actor, I feel it's part of my process to continually be in some kind of a class and to work with voice, Alexander, scene work, and so forth.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Alex Choate. I received my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Acting from Oklahoma City University in 2010. Moved to New York and did some work there, and then I moved to Las Vegas and worked for a company that I'm going to keep the name out of this. And then I moved back to LA in almost the winter of 2010. And I've been working small theaters throughout, and I also work for Cabria Music Theater, and occasionally I work at some larger venues as well. I played King Charles the Ninth of France. King Charles, King of France, he is a character who is incredibly narrow-minded, that he is very childlike because of the very overbearing way in which his mother has raised him. So he holds on to a lot of the simplicity of children and shies away from any kind of hard decision or anything that could be considered uncomfortable or painful.
Your character didn't have a whole lot of lines. You were kind of a bit active, but I just loved your performance.
Oh, thank you very much. I think I really enjoyed the character. When we were first going through auditions, there were a couple characters that went, that's fun. And then I saw Charles, small piece, but I thought it was just so much to be pulled out of it. And I really enjoyed the idea of playing the character.
Yeah, I noticed your movement. You spent a lot of time on it, because you most of your acting was physical, your body and all that. Did you work on that, or was it something you just find natural, something you just naturally do?
It was actually something that I focused on a lot while studying, was physical work, and I studied with a friend of mine as well who studied in Moscow, and a lot of our work is based in physical movement. It's the style of the Moscow Art Theater.
Oh, really? I'm intrigued by that, because again, no one is really, they don't consider movement sexy, even though again in dance and it's a great deal in acting, but no one says, I just want to study movement. I mean, could you elaborate more about that? How important is movement in acting?
Oh, movement is, I feel it's one of the essentials. You have voice, you have movement, and you also have focus and direction. But movement, I think, is integral, because when you're doing something, there are things that cannot be said but can be shown by the body, and by understanding the body, you can then show the audience or give the audience the clues to pick things up without directly telling them that I'm sad or I'm upset or that I'm angry or that I'm happy. There's very subtle ways that you can give the viewers of your world what it is that they need to know.
So basically your advice, would this be a good advice from you, that if you're a bit actor and you only have like 2 words in an entire story, you still on stage all that time, you still have movement, so you can actually be an integral part of the play? Is that correct?
It's a good way to fill out a character, is to understand their physical world as well as their emotional world, because you can explain the emotional through the physical.
Great. Thank you very much for being on the show.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Jessie Foudray. I was born in Texas, raised in Vermont, came back to Texas for high school and theater, and in high school is where I fell in love with acting. I played Sylvia. Sylvia starts out the show as a scullery maid, and she kind of works her way into the Gelosi troupe and proves to be pretty useful for them. I'm not going to give anything away, but she becomes kind of important to the whole play. So she's tough, she doesn't really believe in sentiment, and she's really interesting to play because I like love and I like people and I smile all the time, and she's just very don't talk to me, don't mess with me. She doesn't like people.
Yeah. Again, one of my critiques, I guess, about classical theater is there's not enough strong, meaty roles for actresses, for female actors. But I noticed this play, there was a lot, the central characters were women. So what do you think about that?
I loved it. I loved that there was 3 of us and we were all very different. And that, you're right, in Shakespeare it's kind of, you're set as the weaker sex, or because that was the times. And here, I feel like the author kind of turns it. He wrote it contemporarily, and so he, I think, understood that women played a larger part in history than they're often given.
So what do you think about the roles of women in theater in modern days?
I think there's really good ones out there. I think you have to hunt for them, and there's a lot of competition with women. So it's hard to get the really great roles, but they are out there, and I can't wait to see how that explodes. I think women in theater and film is just going to keep getting stronger, and there will be more interesting parts for us.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Dave Ryer. I was born in New England. I grew up there. I went to the University of New Hampshire, where I was a track athlete, was a sprinter. I wanted to get into acting somewhere halfway through my college career, and then I finally did about 4-5 years later, after moving about between 3 different states. And then I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Art, and I moved out to Los Angeles, and I started taking classes with Mayurika, and then I fell into the theater company here. I played Giulio Pasquati. Giulio is one of the 3 original characters in the story, along with Francesco and Simone. He's actually a war veteran too, like the other 3, and he's not exactly the biggest brain of the group, but he's the cool-headed guy of the company. He's the strategist.
Right, he would be like the managing director of the theater.
Yeah, in a way, and like kind of like the bailiff in the court, and at the same time in the courtroom. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what did you get out of this play?
It was cool, like, because between the 3 characters, it's like a sense of brotherhood, and especially between Francesco and I, it was very. There's a deep-rooted relationship there with how we related to each other.
So, question again. Even though this is a professional theater group, and again, it's newly started and all that, why did you decide to do this? Because you could do other things.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it was with the people that are in there. I felt like it was a group of people where I could just do more with, and I wasn't going to be taken for what I looked like at first glance. Like, I'm actually a multi-dimensional human being, so I didn't want to be perceived as just like something, I don't know what I'd think shallow people would consider me as. So it felt more like I would be allowed to be me. And the many other sides I can be too.
All right, well, what sides are those?
Maniacal, crazy. I don't know. I have a lot of nutty stuff, and then there's just a lot of very deep yearning, not anguish, but longing too that I have. So I like to exercise those as much as I can. It's cathartic.
Excellent, because you played more of a stoic character, a bit more straight-laced.
Yeah, originally he started out being way more animated and way more all over the place, but she wanted, we discussed it, and it was like, he's more like a shark. He's conservative with how he uses his energy. He uses it a lot when he needs to, but strategically, and it's only for a very short time.
That's very interesting, because that says a lot about the director. Because you as an actor, obviously you want to be a ham, you want that, but the director kind of reins you in, and I love the direction of this play. I love the way it played.
It was very, it was very good to have that kind of that boundary and just be like, okay, so this is my window for what I have here, and then I can just go all out with those little pieces that I can fit through that window. Yeah.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ashton Marcos with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Daniel Michelson. Well, I've been a student of theater for a long time. I've just looking to get back into it from a long time of being away, teaching and being a paralegal and things like that. I played the Duke. The Duke is a power player who sees this little company as a chance to get some prestige in France and to get his girlfriend a nice part.
Okay, and seeing as you're kind of like I would say more of a non-equity type person and all that, what are your thoughts on this, where a person can just come in and act with real media actors?
On coming into my experience,
your experience,
they're really great actors and I enjoy working with them. They're professionals, they know what they're doing.
Great, and you're just kind of more of an amateur, you just kind of do this for fun?
Yes.
Great, so what made you decide to do this then?
Well, I heard about this company and I heard about the play and I auditioned and here I am.
All right, thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, sure, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and you're?
Murphy Martin. I was born in Carlsbad, California, did theater most of my life, and then got a BFA at Cal Arts in acting in 2013, and have been pursuing it professionally ever since.
Great, and which character did you play?
Simone. He's a food-loving man that just wants nothing more than the simple things in life, a good warm bed and a huge plate of food, and he loves his mother.
I loved your performance. I actually loved the entire play. What kind of experience did you get from it?
Well, it allowed me to focus more on what's going on, especially that there are wars going on and we're trying to... a lot of times things will just distract us from what's actually occurring, and I think it was great to hear some of these ideas. The poetry, especially of Isabella, was beautiful. I was moved to that, and it helped me understand, especially for my character, that to not judge everyone from the outside, and that he is a dreamer and is prolific in that sense, and we should always be open-hearted and kind to everyone that we meet. So I love that, and I think it's wonderful that people got to experience that too, I hope.
Do you prefer the classics, or would you prefer something more modern?
I think it takes understanding the classics to do the modern, so I've got respect and love for my roots. So I love doing both.
And your character was actually kind of a goofy type character.
Well, I just looked to my nephew Elijah because he doesn't really understand that he's so goofy. He's just going after things that he wants and says what he feels, and I connected to that hugely. And the more that I could make it life or death, these situations that I appreciated, that's where the comedy would come, and the sincerity and the overall 100% commitment and proof, or pursuit of what I'm going after.
Great. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
I, Gelosi, will be playing at 601 Studio from May 9th to May 31st. For more information, go to www.helsinki-west.com or search for AMB Theatre, that's all one word, on Facebook.